So specifically told me not to forget. Okay, here we go. Back by popular demand. Super excited to have Kim and Whitney back today to share all their social media, just everything, tips. You guys are just awesome. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us. And thanks for being human. I always get hung up on Zoom. So the fact that you had some glitches, like you're just human, friend.
It's crazy. I know. Thank you for saying. I'm like, of all, and it always happens when I'm doing one of these, not when I'm like Zooming, with Heather or something. So I'm like, and we had an office meeting happening right before this, and they were on this same Zoom. So when I logged on the first time, the whole office meeting was going. So then we kicked everybody off of there, and then it wanted to verify me or whatever. So anyway, thank you all so much. Really excited. So we had you guys on last year and we had incredible feedback. I know you guys have a lot to share and talk about. It seems like this year, especially, social media is like becoming more. I've been doing one-on-ones with our top agents for the year, and social media is becoming like almost everybody is in their top three for lead gen sources. And it's so cool to watch and to see. And it's like all across the board. Some people are really great at it, and then other people are like just starting to, dip their toe in the water with it. But the success stories, actually, I see Andrew on. We just had Andrew on a week before last or last week. I can't remember Andrew. And he just had an incredible year last year from Facebook. So really excited for you guys to share, because the power of what can happen on social media is so awesome. And you guys, I have no clue how, but you're going to be so proud of me. I just had a reel hit 100,000 views today. I know. I don't even know. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But they say all it takes is one. And I've been consistently really working on this for like 2 years. So I'm like, when you just get one to pop, hopefully that'll be good. So hoping to just let you guys roll with it. Is that good?
Of course. Perfect.
Awesome. And if they weren't here last time, will you just do a quick little intro? So I feel like everyone knows you, but if they don't, that'll be good for them.
Absolutely. Sure. All right, we'll share our screen because we got like we can have visuals.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll present this really quick. And then, hi team. Okay, so here's the deal. Dana is not wrong. Social is increasingly becoming more and more important when it comes to being able to market your business, especially if you're in real estate. And so we are strategists at heart and are so excited to tell you some of the trends that we personally feel like you do not want to sleep on. And we'll tell you a little bit more about us and what we do. But first, we wanted to start the conversation exactly the way that you did, which is like level setting on how important this is.
I mean, the landscape, it is changing. I think if you've been focused on video, you feel that the momentum is, I think, rising, but video is not going anywhere. These platforms aren't going anywhere. And I think more than anything, it's like, how can you utilize these platforms to be one of your strongest business tools? And the reality is, like, people are going to go to these platforms to look you up. It is like your living resume. And so if it's dated or it's blank, that's actually a louder statement of probably what isn't true about you, but they're going to quickly move on to the next person, right? So you have to remember that even if this is like makes you sweat and makes you super uncomfortable, do it for your business, because it literally is a resume that you need to have on the platforms.
Absolutely. It's so important. That's where they're double checking on you. And we have seen astronomical growth in our business and in our revenue from leveraging social media in both of our careers. And we have never felt more passionately that this is a vehicle that can literally change the game for your business if you're willing to lean in.
Yes.
A little bit about who we are, just so you know who in the world is chattering at you. My name is Whitney. I'm a business coach, and I've been working with women behind the scenes to help them leverage the internet to build businesses for years and years now. And I feel like it's just now becoming popular. So it's very exciting to watch everybody catch on to what I've known forever, right? I've built multiple businesses, all of them leveraging online. So from the direct selling space to the health and wellness space to the social media marketing and additional revenue stream online digital product space. All of those have been very successful. And I've used social media to literally garner all of my clients. And this is Kim.
Yes. Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm an agent in Columbus, Ohio. So hi to those of you who are on here that I know. The reality is I I knew, and I think it was 2020 was the year that I just knew I was going to double down on video and social in general. My background comes from the advertising and marketing space. I was in the ad agency world for a really long time before I jumped into real estate, and it's always been a passion of mine, the branding, the marketing. If there's a good campaign, I'm like all geeked out about it. So what I realized is we have to market ourselves the same way, and we have to be smart, but how can you do that without like completely adding another job to your plate? So I knew social and video was the way to do it. And so I found Whitney, she started teaching me how, and now we run a marketing firm together.
It works.
So it works. I think the thing that I realized candidly is I was fried by the end of 2020. And I needed to figure out a way to do more without actually adding more to my plate, and video and social has done that for me.
Yeah, and I mean, watching Kim put the things that I taught her into place, and watching what happened for her business was nothing short of magical. And so whenever I had this idea for a marketing firm, I knew I couldn't do it alone, and she was naturally the person that I went to collaborate on this work. And so together we own Real Social, and we run Real Social. It is the digital marketing firm for real estate agents. And so we support real estate professionals through one-on-one support and helping them customize their content strategy and custom like actual film execution for our local clients, and a couple of far-flung ones too. Workshops just like these for brokerages and community events. And then of course we have a content membership where we sort of give prompts to real estate professionals to help them create videos. So it's not so much of a heavy lift to create video content. And we have never been more passionate about this work. And we're so excited to talk to you about what we see are some upcoming trends in 2024, but we can't start the conversation without talking about what's out. Okay.
So here's our opinion.
Oh, sorry. Can I ask a quick question really fast?
Yeah.
Are you all finding more, let's just say, let's talk about realtors right now specifically. Are you all finding more they're good with, if they have the content done for them, then they can kind of post it themselves? Or are you finding more that most of them like want everything done for them? Or will you just talk a little bit about that?
In terms of like what we are finding agents wanting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't want to do it, of course not. But the question is whether or not they're willing to invest in having someone else do it for them that's the question, right? So whether or not you want someone to do it for you, I think you all are going to have to get used to the idea that it has to be your face. And so you're going to have to get used to that. Like there's going to be some element of this that we can't do for you. And when I say we, I mean the greater content strategists at large, because your face is like the most important part of all of this. And so even if we are to script the entire thing into film and edit, you still got to show up and put on a pretty face, right? So yeah, of course people want it done for them because they're busy, right? You'll find like a very small percentage, don't you agree, Kim?
Yeah.
Of people who are like, yeah, I'm interested in this and I kind of want to do it, but most people don't.
Yeah, it's an investment. It's either you're going to take the time or you're going to take the financial investment in yourself. But either way, not doing anything is really going to take the larger hit, I think, specifically this year.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, we say this all the time. It's like if you, let's just say somebody's brand new to the business and they're mastering the craft of this video, of this whole marketing, platform that we preach. You might be seen by the public that you have way more expertise than someone who's sitting in the same call and has 20 plus years experience. It's just, the perception will trump the reality.
It's
and
optics,
so, yeah. And so I think it's just really important, but I think you have to decide, are you going to invest in yourself? And then how are you going to do that?
Mm-hmm. So the good news is there are a couple of things that are on the way out, and I think you'll all be excited to hear them. Overproduced transitions that take a ton of time to master and figure out. Pointing and dancing, you're welcome. Shigon.
Yeah.
Okay. Into a degree, voiceovers. So we're still seeing some humor-based voiceovers that are thriving, but we're starting to see fewer and fewer voiceover-based reels with staying power, which I think is probably a good thing.
Definitely more trending audios that are music versus voiceover sounds.
But we want to talk about what's in.
Yeah, what's in. So first one for us that we really wanted to share with you guys is long form content. And you probably, maybe you've heard this before, but basically there are a lot of different platforms where you can use a longer form content. You can talk for up to 5 to 30 minutes. So this could be, let's just say you have a buying process seminar. I mean, you could film this and put it on the internet. But the thing is that this can take a lot of different, it can just look a lot of different ways. YouTube series, you can create that. You could actually have a podcast. Maybe some of you have a podcast. Find a way to actually record those visually and make videos out of them, because you can slice and splice those things. And then one of our favorites is the live video and collabs, because oh my gosh, this is like the easiest one, because it's like built into, I'm an Instagram fan, and you can do this using the platform and using the tools that are within the app. And so it's really easy. But the beauty of a live video and a collab is you are naturally growing your audience, hopefully in a strategic way that's attracting you to more people who you want to be working with.
So we've got an example here of a podcast recording. They actually recorded it native for YouTube, and then they repurpose it for both Shorts and for Instagram. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the audio, but it's Mel Robbins.
About making your mind work for you. Hey, it's your friend Mel.
Okay.
And
so I don't know if you guys can hear that audio. Tell me in the chat if you can, so that way I'll like fill you in on what you miss if you can't. But you can.
Yeah.
So, you know, essentially she's recording her entire podcast series native to YouTube. It's searchable, which is lovely. We love that. But you could also upload the entire episode onto Instagram as well. And then she's then taking that and splicing that into shorter form content. We have some tips and tricks for you on that one too. But the thing is with long form content, it needs to feel conversational. It needs to be topics that you have a lot to say about. Obviously, you can't create like a 30-minute video if you have one sentence to say about something. And I find that they perform best in real estate perspective whenever it is conversational between two parties, whether it's you interviewing small business owners or you having another conversation with another real estate professional or a lender. Those tend to work better in terms of long form content.
So don't approach this like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go live for 30 minutes. Like I'm never going to do that. Some of you guys might be saying that. You have to have an outline. You've got to have a plan. But once you have that, then really turn it into a chat, make it a conversation where people want to, sit at the table and listen.
So let's say that you had a plan to go.
think about it. A couple of episodes ago, we had that conversation about how a lot of professional athletes will have this secondary persona that they
Okay, so this is an example of leveraging long form content and splicing it up into shorter videos that we're leveraging both on stories and on our Reels platform. This is a clip from my podcast, Capture Confidence. You can leverage a lot of different resources to do this for you. We have a VA that does this for us. However, you can also use Munch, which is an AI tool that will take a long form video and it will use AI to find the best clips. And it will search through your SEO and it will literally give you 20 short clips that you can leverage all over the place. So
that's amazing. I've never heard of that. So that's like my first great tip. Thank you so much. Oh, hold on, Whitney, quick question. Just because I might have missed this, but maybe someone else did too. So for the long form content, if we want to I understand utilizing podcasts and YouTube, but if you want to utilize Instagram for long form content, is that where you're saying you would actually go live, or you're saying take your long form, get it down into smaller form, and then put the smaller pieces on Instagram?
I'd go live. I would start long form native in Instagram. I would go live and I would, if I were being a strategist about this, I would create a recurring same day, same time, like consistent show up so that you can start to build momentum and audience with the people expecting it to happen. I would do some front end marketing to make sure they know it's happening, but I would have it same time every single week. And then I would take that long form video, download it, and leverage something like Munch or a VA to give me more splices so that I can utilize them for stories or utilize the very best performing ones for Reels later on too.
The other thing with live on Instagram, you basically post it like it's a reel. So I don't know if everybody on here knows that, but once you're done recording, you do, your little caption and it goes up into your feed.
Yep. And Andrew is asking, what about Facebook Live instead of Instagram? Absolutely. Rock on.
Know where your audience is and go to them.
Yes, every time. Okay, so that's just one example of something that's trending that we are excited about.
We're keeping it real, and there are some corners you cannot cut. There are a lot of buyers.
This is our sweet, darling client. We do all of her strategy work, all of her film, edit, everything. We send her finalized videos every single month. And the one thing that is going really well for clients like this, and every single real estate agent we see doing this, is grand slam when it comes to conversion of clients in the tail end, showing your freaking opinion, having an opinion and not being afraid to show it.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. People are looking to you to be the expert. And so this platform and the way that your videos are actually going to perform well are 30-second clips of you talking about something important. So the more that you can share your opinion, the more that you can tell people this is what you should pay attention to, or hey, look out for this, or did you know you should be doing these 3 things? All of this type of stuff, this is what people want to tune in for. And so you don't have to worry so much about, oh, like the trending audio with all of the, captions on the screen at the right time, like that doesn't really matter as much. This year, they want to see your face. They want to learn from you. They want to gain that trust factor with you. And this is a great way to do it. We obviously have to do video.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple of different ways that you can leverage what we call thought leadership based content. The first is green screen. If you guys don't know how to do a green screen, that's your number one homework for walk away from this training, and you need to learn how to do a green screen. We have a Reels library that can teach you how to do it if you don't know how, that we're happy to share with you guys. But you need to start leveraging all the things that are happening both in your community and in your industry as like the backup, and you're the front and center, right? So behind you is the article, and then you're giving your perspective on it. So leveraging green screen that way.
Whitney, will you all share that? Because fun fact, after the last time that you were on our One Team Zoom, I went and watched that and learned how to do a green screen and it was so easy. And I wondered how all these people were doing it. And then when you all said that, I just followed your instructions. So that would be amazing if you could share, because some people might not know how to do that on here. I'm sure they do.
We do have a Reels library, so we'll get you guys access to that.
Yeah.
The thing is, one of my pet peeves is when let's just say there's an article, I feel like it's happening a lot in Columbus where it's all about growth, and people will just share they'll share the article up in their stories. So it's only your audience that's seeing it when it goes into your stories, which is better than nothing. So listen, if you're doing this is not like, I'm not throwing shade. But the reality is like, people don't know what you're saying about that. And so if you can just take it one step further and make them understand, like, why am I posting this? I'm posting this because you should pay attention to this. Why? So we're growing a lot in Columbus. What does that mean for you? Like help people understand, like just take that one more step. And when the article's behind you, it kind of just, you don't have to say everything, right? Like you don't have to say everything. You can point to it, you can explain it, and then have have all of the paragraphs of information in that caption. But green screen's super effective.
Yeah. So whether you're using a green screen or simply just face to camera, just like this video, it's just your face, you're the star. There's no bells and whistles. We're recording that on the phone. You don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. Actually, we would argue and tell you that fancy produced content actually doesn't perform as well as organic content. So that's why we do it that way, right? Otherwise we would use, professional equipment every single time. Your take on what's happening is the most valuable asset that you have when it comes to this style of content. Okay. Okay, carousels. Yay, we get a break.
I know, carousels are kind of coming back, so we wanted to make sure.
So happy.
Yeah,
I know.
I always love when people I followed post carousels. Like I like to swipe, even if it's like life lately, and I'm like, ooh, what did they do the last week? And like, look at I just think this is great. I love this. This makes me happy.
So the carousels, they are, I think it is a nice change. It is a visual, obviously people enjoy it. They're trying to close the loop. They're going to continue on. The deal with the carousels is you need to follow a formula. And this formula, we preach it on any type of content that you're going to produce, anything from an email newsletter to a video to a carousel, that you need to take them through the exact same formula where you captivate, you're grabbing their attention at the beginning, you're going to educate in those middle slides, you're going to obviously be teaching them something. And at the end, you need to tell them what you want them to do, right? So you're going to do that when you're doing videos, but you also need to think through the same thing. Have a point, be intentional with the carousel, just like you would with your video.
Yeah, you're taking them on a journey. The other style of carousels that are performing really well, this is only going to work for some of you. It's not going to be for everyone, but humor-based viral carousels that are meme swipes are working really well for specific audiences. We say this with a caveat, be careful. Most of you guys, if you're in recruitment, if you're trying to build a big team, or if you're a broker and you're trying to attract more agents, you can absolutely leverage realtor humor to do that. But if you are trying to build a business and you're trying to grow from a transaction perspective, we would caution you from creating content like this because it's actually confusing to the person that you're trying to attract, right? Like Is she trying to like make realtor jokes? Like, I don't get realtor jokes because I'm just like an everyday girl, right? So make sure that if you're going to leverage that style, it makes sense for what you're trying to do with your platform. Okay. But yeah, follow that formula for literally everything. We swear by it. It works every time.
Yeah, the carousels, the humor one that I love is Sunday Scaries. I'm sure you guys have all followed that too. But to Whitney's point, I think just always we are strategists. We said this at the beginning. So, you know, the reality is you've really got to think about who you're making this content for. And I mean, like, major news alert here, it's not for other agents unless you're trying to recruit. So think about that. Like, our jokes, the person who you're trying to attract as your ideal client probably doesn't understand that joke.
Yeah.
Or worse, they think it's about them, which is terrible.
Yeah, you don't ever want them to feel like that.
Hey, come here, look at me. Hey, look at me. What'd I say? No. Come here, look at me. Hey, look at me. No. Come here, look at me.
I
Hey,
love him.
hey,
So great.
I can't. Okay, so it didn't show this, but on the screen, I think the hook that I used for that client was like buyers trying to see a house without a pre-approval letter, right? So these are called CapCut style videos. There is an app called CapCut, if you don't know, where you can make these. They literally green screen, cut out popular clips of videos. They're usually like pop culture videos. And you can upload your own photo or your own video behind the little character. Okay, so that's how people are doing this. They're using CapCut, and they are on the rise, especially when it comes to humor-based platforms. So if you're the kind of person who is funny and is willing to lean into humor, these are on the rise. And so I would think through, like, how can I use this in a way that feels authentic to my brand, grows my business, right? Like, we're not doing it just to be funny. We're doing it to attract the right kind of person. Again, it's not going to be for everyone, but these kinds of content are on the rise for sure.
If you know that your audience really dials into some kind of pop culture, so I don't know, maybe it could be like Bravo Housewives or something. If you know that your audience loves that, this could be a really fun way to just sprinkle in some humor. We would say don't make don't make all of your videos CapCut. Once a week is great.
Yeah.
They still want to see your face, but this is just a really fun way to it kind of ups your game, because not everybody's going to do this, and the app is not difficult, but just check it out. CapCut.
So yeah, rules here are keep it on brand, minimize it, don't let it be the only thing that you're doing, and then just make sure that it's appropriate for the demographic that you're trying to attract. Yeah. Cool. Okay, yay. Things that will never, ever, ever go out of style, no matter who you are and what you do and what you want. Video. Video's not going anywhere.
It's here to stay. It's
Yeah.
here to stay. The reality is, I know we hear every excuse. And I know when people tell us they think that they're the only ones that have ever said that, we hear it from everybody. And you would hear it from somebody, you know, with experience, you would hear it with somebody brand new to the business. The reality is you often are your biggest obstacle, and you have to get out of your own way. You look the way you look, you sound the way they sound, and guess what? You're really good at what you do, and what they want to hear is what you have to say. So this is a little bit of the mindset work. You've got to just show up and show your face and be willing to just be who you are. If you were just having coffee with them, you're just going to record it instead.
Jonathan asked a really good question. He said, if you're a new agent, which approach would you recommend to start with first? Your face. Yes. You would start with your face. If you're feeling nervous about showing up on video, start with stories first, because they're going to disappear in 24 hours. Do stories every day for a week, and then film a video and put it in your feed. Okay. I'm just telling you, your face is the most powerful thing that you've got when it comes to your brand. Your perspective, your voice, your face. It is what it is. It's not changing. When you show up for a meeting, like Kim was saying, that's who you are. So just get used to sharing it.
Yeah. And if you have time, like if you have a day that you're like, I'm going to film video, great. Grab a couple different blazers, sit in a couple different spaces, and just go. Just record and get them up into your feed.
Kim, I have found.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, babe.
I was just going to say, I have found that the only way that I can get it done is to do exactly what you just said. I have to take a half a day a month, put it on the calendar. I have either sometimes Adam does it or films me, or I have Tyler when I'm doing like more professional stuff. But I bring multiple, outfits. We'll like switch out different areas, or we'll go to my neighbor's house or whatever. And then I just batch it, because what always gave me pause, and so many agents that I talk to say this, is trying to come up with new stuff like every single day. And then you get busy doing your, regular work and your life and all the things that you have to do. And so I was struggling because I would do so good for like 3 or 4 days, and then I'd have like a week where I
Mhm.
did nothing because I didn't have I felt like I didn't have anything to post when the reality is I'm sure I could have found something, but I'm so glad you said that because if people could just put that on their calendar and just time block it in there and make it happen, that would be like just the best thing.
Use
And-
it like lead gen,
Mhm.
right? Like this is, I mean, this is my lead gen. I don't do something else. Like, so I spend time, if I'm not filming, then well, let me back up. Taking it from beginning to end every time is so exhausting, you guys, because you're going through all these different creative elements. You're taking a hat on, you're taking it off. What am I going to say? Oh my God, now I have to be all cute and like uppity for the video. And then I've got to edit it and I've got to be creative about what I'm going to type that's going to be up there forever. Like that's exhausting. And so if you can just start thinking exactly what you use the word batch, you put tasks of likeness together and you do that on one day, right?
Mhm.
And so then when you get, it's just creating better habits for yourself because I mean, Whitney taught me this. It's like, once you can throw a bunch of stuff in drafts, you don't have to think about it. And if you always have stuff in drafts, it's like, you always have gas in your car. It's like, okay. And when you get low, you're like, whoop, I might need that. I might need to do a film
We
session
don't have to
soon.
fill up, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's how you want to get into a rhythm where this is just something you do versus feeling like you're taking on an entire other job.
The way that we do this with our clients, and you can replicate this for yourself, you can obviously work with a company like us to do this too. We travel every blue moon. So if you're not in Columbus local, but you're close enough, we're happy to come do this with you as well. You know, we have a sit down where we strategize what the content's going to be first. So we strategize the content. Then we have a film day where we film the content. Then behind the scenes, we edit the content on a separate day. And then we caption up on the tail end, right? So we're removing this whole switching of the hat thing that is so exhausting by doing one task at a time. It's way easier if you're in recording mode and you're feeling like, okay, I'm bringing my energy, right? Like it's way easier for me to do that 10 times in a row than for me to be like, I got to be like really strategic and think about what I'm going to say and then peppy and then say it and like analytical as I'm editing. It's just a lot of expenditure. So separate it out so that it's not so hard for you. Yeah.
Okay, one more thing and then we'll move on. Please, for everything holy, do not type the entire caption in the app. It is so frustrating and you only have like 2 lines to see. It's awful.
Worst.
I started doing this a year ago. I have a Google Doc that's just a running Google Doc and it's captions. It's Kim Mills Group captions. And I just continue to fill up that whole document with captions. The nice thing is I have that on my phone. So I copy it out of the Google Doc into the app. And then I just, you know, maybe add some emojis and post it. What I like about that is I have a Google Doc that 9 times out of 10, it's where my newsletter content is coming from. So, you know, don't just make something to use it once. Use it a lot.
Repurpose the heck out of that. And
Yeah.
this is like, you know, our number one MO. Like if we use something once, we're using it 10
Yeah.
times. Right. And if it's doing well, we're using it 30, babe.
Yeah.
Okay. So be smart and be thoughtful about that. These things will never go out of style. Organic face to camera, short, choppy clips of you going through the motions. So like chicks just putting up a ponytail.
Putting on my mascara. Getting ready for a day.
Right? It is so easy. Honey, you get to be a person in 2024. Put the camera on, and then the next thing you know, you've got content. I don't care if you're cutting lemons. I don't care if you're opening up a door, cleaning up something. Everything is content.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just, you got to get used to taking out your phone and filming the things that you do every day.
It gets to be easy. Okay? Okay, what's in? As much authenticity as you can stomach. This is a hard one for people because they just want to be seen as professional. I think a lot of you guys think if I show too much of who I really am, if I'm too casual, if I'm too funny, if I'm too emotional, then they won't take me seriously as a realtor. And I've worked really hard to be taken seriously. You guys in 2024, they want to connect with a person.
Mhm.
They want to feel like you're a human, and I'm so like proud to know you, B, glad to work with you, and I understand you. So you have to learn how to showcase some level of vulnerability if you want your brand to really take off for you.
And there's so many ways that you can do this. You have to figure out what it is for you and your brand. And this is the beauty of it. You guys are all sitting on the same call. You can think of what vulnerability means to you. You guys are all going to create a different video. It's not going to look the same because it's specific to you and your clients and your brand, right? I will tell you that the vulnerable videos that I've posted are often my highest watched videos. And I'm talking about stuff where it's like a mistake that I'm sharing, right? Like you don't necessarily want to admit that, but you share it. You share it in a way where like, here's what happened and here's what we did. I mean, the one that's on here, I can't actually remember.
I'll tell you.
I can't remember what we talked about.
We thought we were headed to the closing table, and before we knew it, the deal was getting terminated. Icing on the cake was my clients were literally pulling out of the driveway to move across the country.
Okay, so she's sharing about a time when it didn't go the way that we wanted it to go. How many of you throw a chat in the chat if you're like, that scares me to death because I don't want people to think I suck at my job and I don't want to do it. Tell me if that's you in the chat. I guarantee you that there are some of you in there because you want to be taken seriously and you don't want to show your weakness.
Yeah.
But the way that she told the story, she was able to talk about how she fixed it. She was able to talk about what the end outcome was and how it's not all sunshine and daisies, but homegirl is over here doing the work to make sure she serves her clients right.
Yeah.
And because she was willing to show that not everything goes right, her clients are now more confident that she is good at her job because of it. You've got to be willing to show your cards a little bit.
Be real.
Yeah.
And the reality is this just, it humanizes you, it humanizes the process, but it also affords them the chance to grow trust with you quicker. And God forbid they hire you and then you hit a bump in the road. They're like, wait a second, I sort of already know she knows how to do this. And it doesn't mean like we have to freak out.
Yeah. So, I mean, our caveat here is like, it's not gloom and doom. You're certainly not going to get on the internet and complain. We're always going to try and showcase like what we did to solve the problem, but you got to be able to showcase that there were things that didn't go right in order to be able to get to that place. Okay.
Yeah.
So use it for the power of good and use it in a way that showcases you're a problem solver. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so one thing we wanted to share with you guys, we're gonna take questions and we'll make sure that we put the link to our Reels library as well, but we're having a Reels challenge this week. It literally started yesterday, so you're not too late, and I'll put the link here in the chat too. But basically, we're spending 5 days teaching you the 5 different styles of content that we personally feel you should be creating as a real estate professional. We're gonna be walking you through the process. We're giving away tons of prizes for our favorite Reels of the week. And like I said, we just kicked off yesterday, so you're not too late. The QR code, and then we'll give you the link to, will get you to the challenge totally free. And we are just really firm believers that it's so much more fun to create content together. So do this together, do this with your teams, do this like with your real estate besties, right? Because it doesn't have to be so daunting to create content. I'm gonna get out of the present mode and get you guys the link.
And you definitely have not missed too much. We have a private Facebook group, so you can see the past 2 days. We hop on every morning and we give you the new prompts for the new challenge of the day. And then we just can't wait to search your own video, tag us, and we share some love on the internet.
Okay, so we're gonna open it up to questions, you guys. Let us know what questions you have, and I'll stop sharing my screen here in a second, and I'll pull up our Reels library and get you that too. Tell us what questions you have. There's like nothing off the table. You can unmute yourself and ask.
Thank you guys so much for doing this. Well, you guys are, if you have a question, if you want to type it in the chat, I can field it, or if you want to raise your hand, you can just come on and ask too. And while you guys are thinking, I do have a question that I would love to get your all's perspective on. Oh yay, Brooke has, that I've been just kind of going back and forth with. Sorry, I think I have an eyelash in my eye, y'all. And here's my question. I want people to come to my page for leadership, real estate, entrepreneurs, business owner, all that stuff. However, what I get the very most engagement on is like, tour my house, look at the skincare routine that I just have. Here's the 5 places to go if you're in Charleston or Lexington, or it's like not the business stuff that I get the most engagement on. It's all the other stuff. But I also don't want people to be confused when they come and they're, and then be like, oh, she's just this influencer. Like, absolutely no, that's not my goal. It's for the business stuff, but it's like, that's the stuff that gets them in. Is that normal? Am I doing it wrong? Thoughts, feedback?
It's not unusual, but I do think there's a way that we can do this more thoughtfully and strategically. Okay. So you're not wrong. People love to engage with low threshold, Like, you're not gonna try and convince me to sell my house if I comment on this post content, right?
Yeah.
They want to engage with that. How can we create content that is relevant to our brand and what we do, that is low threshold content? So for example, instead of you going through your skincare routine, can you be washing your face and talking about something that's important for business?
Okay, so time.
Can we think about how can we appear more casual and more low threshold for engagement, but we're still talking about the things that we're talking about. So if you don't want to be seen as an influencer, don't create influencer style content.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can always have the nod to it. And we do really think that, like anything that you care about or you're passionate about, and it's like a tangent to real estate, we think those are great, but it's the engagement piece that's important. Like, what are you asking them to do? And it does that in some fashion come back to your business. So if you're not going to sell skincare, then just do the nod that like you have a great skincare routine. And I guarantee someone's still going to back channel you and be like, what the heck do you use on your face?
And then we slide
But
into the
guess what?
DMs and we tell them.
Yeah, then they're in your
Yeah.
DMs and you're like, you have your email and now we're friends.
Right, but we're not creating content that's like, here's my face washing routine, because so many of you ask, because quite frankly, I don't want to be known for
No.
a face washing routine. I want to be
Right.
known as a woman who has brokerages in multiple cities and is a total boss.
Yes, amen.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, definitely. I'm redoing some more content at the end of the month, so I'm really trying to focus on that. Okay, Brooke, you go, and then I'll go to the questions in the chat. Thank you.
My question is, I wonder if we've gone in a direction that maybe we shouldn't have when we created a business page. I like being able to use the business meta. I like being able to track things. I like being able to do that. However, I don't have access to a lot of the trending material, it seems like, that is on a business page. Here's our problem. Now we have followers on our business page. What would you suggest in making a transition? What are your suggestions for the whole thing?
No problem. It's actually not as complicated as it feels.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So here's the good news is you can actually change your status to entrepreneur, and that opens up all of the great trending audios, music, all of that. So you just need to be sure that you're an entrepreneur. You can then hide entrepreneur if you don't want it to say entrepreneur, and then you can have real estate agent or whatever it is that you want to add on there. So it kind of hides in the back.
And no one, you don't
knows.
have to notify anyone or make a big, fuss about it. You just get to make those changes behind the scenes, and then it allows you more access. But you still enjoy all the benefits of having analytics and knowing what's working.
But do not create another page.
No.
Don't start over. Oh my gosh, no, never, don't.
Okay.
That's
Wow. Okay. I didn't realize it was that easy. I was feeling very nervous about that.
No, you're good.
Good.
All
Thank
good.
you.
Mhm.
Great question. Really great question. Okay, let's see. Lindsay asked, what are your favorite apps to help with your video content, i.e. how do I do a carousel video?
Okay, so a carousel video, obviously it's a carousel that just has up to 10 video segments in it. So you're gonna have all the videos recorded and saved on your phone, and then you're gonna go create a carousel in the same way you would with photos. So you're just gonna pick videos in the order that you want them to show up instead. I don't have an opinion about how well those work versus leveraging a reel, quite frankly, but try, test and see how your reach does and how it goes for you. In terms of apps that we like to use,
I am a big proponent of not adding more apps to figure this out.
Ditto.
So I would really just master one. Which one is your audience on the most? Like, are they better on Facebook than they are on Instagram? Go to where they are and master that app, because there's so much that is embedded in the app that, honestly, it boosts the algorithm. So like, you may as well use the tools that they're offering. We just overcomplicate things, you guys. And so for me to sit here and say, well, you should create the video actually in this, and then you should import it, and then you should do this. Like, I know I've already lost half of you because you don't have to do that. The one tip I will tell you is organize your photos on your phone. God
And your videos.
forbid.
Yeah.
Oh, organize it. So I'm slowly adding folders. Whitney and I share several folders, but you know, that's the thing. If you have a team, you guys can share like B-roll footage of, you know, you guys doing things together. And that creates great content. You just need to have it organized so you're wasting less time when it's time to post. So you don't get caught in the scroll and then you're like, oh my gosh, look at my son from 5 years ago. And like an hour's gone by. So keep yourself organized within the apps.
We edit straight in the Instagram app for the most part. There are some times where I might edit in Canva if I want particular fonts over top of what I'm doing or overlays, but that's less frequent. We'll use a third-party app sometimes for captions, but I will tell you that SEO works better whenever you utilize Instagram's captions. So for what it is, like it might look pretty when you use the third-party app, but then you're losing SEO options whenever you do that. So, you know, pick your poison. And I would just tell you that like whatever it makes it the least complicated and the easiest for you to be able to edit is what you should do. Some people love InShot. I don't really like use it. I mean, whatever, like you do you, right? So I think it's just like personal preference on that. Darian asked, she said, I love editing on TikTok, but I don't love that when I save it, TikTok's logo is on there to piggyback on Lindsay's question. Yes, okay. So you can save that video. If you save it from TikTok before you publish it, you should be able to save it without the watermark. So that's one option. You also, if you go to igdownloader.com, you can download, it doesn't have to be Instagram, it could also be a TikTok. If you copy the link of the video that you want to download, you can download it and usually it will download it without the watermark on it as well. Yeah. Is that the same for all apps? We need to be entrepreneur everywhere. That's just the status for Instagram.
Yeah. But that's where, you know, be efficient. So I love Instagram. My audience loves Instagram. They dialogue. They are really interactive with me on Instagram. But I've pushed everything over to Facebook because why not? It's easy. It's automatic. You just have to remember to check in every once in a while because some people who you think are on Instagram are really messaging you on Facebook. So just remember that. But I do business page to business page. And then when I remember, I'll reshare it to my personal Facebook page. I don't really do anything with my personal Facebook page. There's just a lot of people there. So I just reshare my real estate stuff.
Yeah. If anybody wants to get
me,
on Facebook, good luck.
Yeah, I forget to check on Facebook like
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But then some people like Andrew is much bigger on Facebook than he is on Instagram and gets a lot of, I mean, 82% of his business last year came from Facebook. I know.
So awesome. I love it. But that's where, like, I bet you're doing a great job of telling people what to do. So like, if you're on Facebook, then reach out to me on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, DM me on Instagram, right? Like you got to just be consistent and just tell people what you want them to do.
He also said that he heard Meta was pushing content, that if it felt like content looked like it was created on Canva, that it was like dinging it. Who freaking knows? I mean, honestly, if we had an idea every day of the week, Instagram or Meta has like a new, you know, whatever. We don't change our strategy based on what the algorithm is doing. We change our strategy based on what the people are responding.
Oh, that's good. That's very good because I get hung up in like, oh, what are the algorithms this month? You know, it's like they change every freaking hour.
You'll make yourself crazy.
We will often say that Instagram is drunk quite frequently. So there's no point in following her everywhere.
She likes pina coladas. She's been caught in the rain.
Yeah. Yes.
So true. So true.
But the strategy, I mean, this is something that's really important. You know, your marketing strategy should be on all fronts, right? So Instagram is one thing that I do in my business. It's not the only thing, but it by far is my best lead gen. But you want all these tools to work together. And so you use the same strategy. Like just because the algorithm's saying like, oh my gosh, it's all photos now. Well, like don't stop doing what you're doing. If your audience is engaging with you on video, by all means, keep doing video. Like that's where you gotta sometimes just need to put the blinders on and just listen to what your audience is guiding you for, right?
And I will tell you too, that not all of your content is gonna be like, you shouldn't make changes based on what's top performing because quite frankly, Dana's video talking about leadership is going to recruit more agents to her company than her skincare video that thousands and thousands of people saw. So you need to be creating content knowing that it may not have a high engagement, because what it's doing is that it's instilling more trust in the person that we're trying to attract. And so the metrics might tell us that it's a flop, when really that could be the one video that made somebody decide to work with us, okay? So try not to get too freaked out about the data of what's working and what's not working, because quite frankly, there is a lot of soft data around what works well. It's not just one video over time. Usually it's like watching a bunch of videos and those all compound together to make a decision for somebody.
Well, and let's just say if you are like, well, I only get 100 views and you're really unmotivated by that. Imagine if you walked into a room and there were 100 people waiting for you to say something. That's 100 views, you guys, on a video. So I would just don't put too much weight on that. And be prepared that if you start to really do this consistently, you're going to hear from people who have never commented on any of your stuff before, and they are going to immediately ask you to just sell their property. I've had it happen several times, and 2023 was the weirdest year for me for that. But I think it's because when you show up consistently and you are pouring on value, they know you know what you're doing, right? And they just, people are busy. People are busy like we are. And so it's like, just cut through all of the BS. And this person, she obviously knows what she's doing. So I'm just going to let her have the listing.
So Michelle was saying that she uses social media primarily for people to get to know her personally, and secondarily to grow her business. And it's allowed her to grow a referral-based business, but she personally feels turned off whenever she stalks a social media account and it's only business. Do we think there is space in gaining followers by inviting them to follow you and later learn on about your business, or should it be business first and then me? Okay, so here's the deal. Last thing in the world we want is to catfish somebody. So we don't want it to be like, here's like 3 things I do to meal prep, and the next thing I know, I'm like, do you want to join my team? Like, we don't want that. Okay, so I'd rather just be honest and upfront in the very beginning, like, hey, this is what I'm doing here. If you're into A, B, and C, if you're into mindset work, building your business online and whatever else, this is probably going to be a place you want to stick around. I'm happy to have you. If you don't want to watch that, like, don't follow me. I am always business first. Whoever sees like lifestyle content on the internet from Whitney, it is a sliver. Okay. It is all business with Whitney, because quite frankly, I just don't have like the mental energy to do extra. I'm already creating all of this content for other clients. So by the time it comes to like fluff content for me, it ain't happening.
She's like, I got to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I think when we're in real estate, I think this is where just take a minute to think about the brand that you're creating for yourself. You don't want to be a real estate robot, like where you just come on and it's all like factual, or, I mean, unless that is your brand, like if you're analytical and that's what your audience comes to you for, great. But think about the amount of time that we spend with a client and then how many years go by before maybe we're working with them again. Yeah. What is going to keep them with you? Yes, it is some real estate, but it's often other things, like what Dana was just saying. It's like top 5 things you should do in Charleston. You guys, that's never going to get old in real estate, because you often are the front line, or you should be, like, what's new, what's cool, what's coming. We have like the inside scoop to a lot of this stuff. And so that is something that's gold when you start to share that, because they start to think like, how does Kim know all this? She's like the mayor. Well, you know, it's a little bit of sleuthing, but it's also just go be curious. Like, go to the new coffee shop and meet the owner and be like, this is so great. Then you're going to do a live collab with that guy on Instagram. Then you're going to have an event there. Then he's probably going to ask you to sell one of his properties. It just happens.
And by the way, that's all business content to me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not about just solds or like listed content. And it's not all business transaction-y content. It's all relevant to the person that I'm trying to serve. And so if you want to build a sphere in a specific area, by all means, create location-based content. If you want to be known as the realtor and like motivational person, like, then part of your content is going to be around like motivation and mindset. So just start thinking about, who is it that I am and want to be, and who is it that I'm trying to attract? And let's make sure that 90% of my content really hits the mark on that.
Yeah. If you're super into food, then you should be talking about food. You should be talking about restaurants. If you're super into dogs, then you can be highlighting dog parks and, I don't know, groomers and all the things that, you know, dog parents need to know. But that's that's like realtor, and it's next to what you're talking about. But it's, you know, you have to do it what's right for you and your brand. If you're not into food and you start posting all the cool restaurants to go to town, you're going to stop posting, because it's, one, going to be really boring and painful for you. And two,
people are going to be so confused.
It's like, why is Mills talking about food? I actually do like food, but
we don't make content
No.
about it.
I was trying to think. I like a lot of things. I'm a bit of I have a lot of stuff going on. And so I do think about this a lot where I try to sprinkle it in. I guess my equation that has started to work for me is I post a lot of the extra things that I do in my community more in my stories. So it's not what I lead with, but once somebody starts to get to know me and they want to see the behind the scenes and all that stuff, then I let you in to the chaos.
That's right.
I have one, oh my gosh, you all, I just have one more question, actually, that I was trying to find this in my phone. I found I took a screenshot of it. Have you seen, do you know any thoughts? And this would be like next level for people that are just trying to kind of get started, I guess, or grow their social media business. But have you seen, I follow a girl that's a friend of mine in another state who she's in a multi-level marketing company. She's not in real estate, but very successful. And I noticed she just had this, I saw this thing pop up that said subscribe. And so it says, her name's Kelly, and it says Kelly's subscription, $2.99 a month. This creator is offering the following: subscriber badge, exclusive content, broadcast channels, behind the scenes. When you said behind the scenes, that's what made me think about this. Ask me anything, coaching, product reviews, subscribe for $2.99 a month. Is that like a thing? Have I been under a rock? Or
It is a thing, and I would wait to do it until you reach an audience size that warrants that decision. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it until we had enough people that were engaging with us on a daily basis in the stories that it felt overwhelming to manage.
Okay, and is that a percentage of your followers or like a flat number amount, would you say?
Okay, so there are lots of ways that you can figure out what to expect that number would look like based on the percentage of followers that you have. But,
Okay.
you know, the only people who are going to be subscribing are already people who are following you. So let's say if you've got 10,000 people following you,
Yep.
then a small percentage of those people are going to opt in to pay monthly for
Yeah.
additional content from you.
So I think too, Dana, it's thinking through what's your bigger strategy? Is it growth or is it nurture? So if it's growth, that isn't necessarily going to be the best thing to move the needle, but
Yep.
that's going to be great for nurture, right?
Yeah, that's so smart. Yep, love that.
Andrew asked if an iPhone mic is enough. Do we need an external mic? I think it depends on how you're filming and how far away from the camera you are. But I will tell you that in our Reels challenge, we're giving away our favorite mics that work for iPhones.
Oh,
And a bunch of other things. So join the challenge if you want to know what we use and if you want a chance to win it for sure.
that is so fun. Oh my gosh, love that. Okay. Okay, y'all. Any last questions? We are like right on time. This is so good. I took 3 pages of notes. So thank you so much. 1, 2, 3. I just am really obsessed with this right now. And honestly, I talk to so many people that are like, I just don't like social media. And I do think you kind of have to like it, but like you said in the beginning, Whitney, like if you don't, you really don't have an option anymore. So you're gonna have to leverage it and just
Find a way to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, find a way to like it. Yeah, that's so true because it's just such a huge piece of these people's businesses that it, for the most part, is free. I mean,
Yeah,
for the most part, I mean, I know you can boost and, you know, all that other stuff, but
but you don't need to. I don't boost posts. You don't need to. And so it is a free platform. And so if you're thinking like, you know, either, you know, I'm coming off of a year that was rough and I don't even know what I have to spend, this is just, it's time, right?
Yeah.
So spend your time doing it and just start. Everybody gets so worked up over the beginning stage. And you can scroll down through my whole Instagram and watch my first few videos. They're terrible. And I don't care. You know, like you have to start.
She had to create terrible videos in order to get good, y'all. She had to start crappy to get good.
And
You've
guess
got to
what?
do it.
I still film bad videos and I still post them. It doesn't matter.
It was so much fun doing it.
Yes, we just enjoy it.
Well, and if someone doesn't like that, then they can just hire y'all to
Right.
help them through it. So,
That's right.
okay. So did we have all your information in the chat? I know we have the Reels challenge. You guys were generous enough to share the library. Can they find you through those things too?
Yeah, so we would tell you to come find us on Instagram. You can find us at Real Social Agent, REEL, on Instagram. You can also find us at our personal platforms. This cutie tootie here is at Kim Mills Group, and mine is just Whitney Abraham.
Follow us at Real Social because we're going to have some really fun events in 2024. And it's not that far, even if you're in Kentucky.
Yeah, come play.
Come on over.
Yeah,
Sounds fun.
absolutely. We like to,
We're
we'll
gonna
try.
we're gonna be hosting a very fun event this summer. That's like a retreat situation. So you're just gonna you're gonna.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, keep me posted on that. I hope I'm
Yeah.
influenced.
Come play.
Okay, thank you all so much. This was so
Thanks
great.
so
So
much.
content. Debbie said, I want more. I love it. Yes, go follow them. You can definitely get more tips and advice as well. And then we'll post and share the recording. But I just appreciate you all. Thank you so much. This was so
Thanks
great.
for having us.
Such a joy.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you all. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.